stuff as well. I come from a music background. This is how I got onto doing video, I think, in the first place. Started doing skate videos years ago, then stopped doing that. Then started being a DJ and writing music and music editing. And I think that really helps when you come to doing video editing, because you kind of got rhythms sorted out in your head and you know what's shit and what's good. That's the main bit it comes down to. What's shit, what's alright. Keep what's alright, throw away what's shit. So I do DJ and write music, and actually years ago I was at a big music conference and I'd written some songs and they were showcased in front of a load of industry people, and they basically said, "Oh, have you ever thought about writing music for films?" And I was like, "No, I hadn't." And as soon as they said that, it's like, I love films, I like writing music, come on. So I tried to score some films for a few years, and not on my part, but a lot of people let me down. Just like, oh yeah, you can do this, do that. Then the email correspondence just stopped, and it's like, well, what are you doing? So I basically thought, well, okay, well, why don't I just make a movie myself? So that was another little get-go to get me to do it. And it's kind of almost a fuck you to these people who let me down. It's like, well, if you're not going to help me out, I'll help myself. And I think sometimes you have to do that, you know. So I'll show you what I've got in my bag. Well, here's the machete which was used. This was, you see that it's really grey and plasticky. This was a really, really shit machete. But I gave it to Mark, and he put the tape on it and painted it all up. It's all started to come off now. And he made it rusty and bloody, and he did that himself basically, and just made it look good. And it's only plastic, but it works perfectly, you know. You put the sound effects to it, it's great. So we got two of these. We've got a replica one, so when Craven gets it through his face, we had to do another one cut to the shape of his face, which Mark got a coat hanger, bent it round the face, then with that coat hanger he could draw a line on there and just cut it out, and we went like that, and then we got the other one and put it in like that, and cut those scenes together, those shots together, and yeah, that was that, and that worked. And that cost me about £1.50. This was the killer's costume. It looks shit, it looks like a huge dressing gown. I wanted something like a priest would wear or something, and because it's fleece, it looks awful, so I had to be really sly when I was shooting, because it just looks rubbish, you know. Little pockets there for the killer's killing tools or whatever, you know. It just looks really bad, but it was okay, because if you have obviously the sun behind it, you can get a bit of a shadowed silhouette type look, so you won't really be able to see the fact it's fleece material. But that looks awful. Amazon typed in, and it's £22, I think.
But you didn't type in killer's costume?
No. So black robe, something like that, and just found it. It was easy to find.
Sorry, how much was that item?
About £22, I think. This is what recorded sound on. These are really, really good. This is £300, so it was a little bit more expensive. But coming from sound, I know that sound goes hand in hand important with picture. So we got this Zoom H4n, really, really good to record with. I recommend that. £300, but if you're going to make a film, you've got to do good sound. Props for in the shack, things like this. This was just obviously some twigs with a bit of yarn type stuff I found, and I made loads of crosses for 2 nights. Just sat at home making crosses while watching horror movies, and then we put them all up in the shack. Yeah, you guys can have one of them. There you go. That's a prop from the film. Here's a cock. This is a clay cock, which was what Dan gets cut off in the movie. It doesn't show too well that he's getting his cock pulled off, and it's swollen as well. That's why it's big and swollen, because he got it pierced in the story, which is a true story. My friend happened to my friend. That's why I wrote it. So Mark made that a nice clay penis, which he let me keep, which was very nice of him. So that sits on my computer while I work away.
So that wasn't body doubled, that was just...
No, he said I doubled it off myself. No, he didn't. This is with my camera. Here's the camera I shot the film on. It is literally a £300 camcorder by Panasonic. It's the SD60. It is great. it is really compressed video footage, so you can't do much of it in post, pulling out the colour and stuff. But it does the job, it does work. So what I did with this basically is I made this grip, which is basically two shelving brackets put together with just these bolts to attach them together like a U shape. So then all you've got to do is get these butterfly screws and put it underneath it, screw the camera on. What I did is obviously I've got a bicycle grip for the top of it to grip onto, which you just get for a bike handlebar. And under there's a pair of tights with sand in it, which is the same weight as the camera. Coming from a skateboarding perspective, skateboarders always shoot with really low to the ground. That's why a lot of shots in the movie are very low to the ground, and they can hold them really well. That's where I got the idea from. So the whole film was shot handheld with this. So basically, I just had this, so I could shoot like that. That was it for the whole of the film, handheld, apart from 2 tripod shots, which are really, really long shots zoomed into the woods, which you couldn't do handheld because they zoom in so far. Everything else was handheld, but with this I had the flexibility to go very, very low, or I could even do my own type crane thing, and I go from real high, looking at it, like that, and just slowly come down and move the viewfinder so I can see it. And I could just do all these crazy angles. I could go up, then go into the trees, just pan it round like that into the trees, then come into a shot. That's why you got all these crazy angles, and I love the fact like Sam Raimi with Evil Dead did all these crazy angles, and it's just like, I think when you're starting up to begin with independent films, without any companies telling you and executive producers telling you what and you should and shouldn't film, I think you should have the freedom to really experiment with your camera angles and do whatever you can. So that cost me to make. So the camera's £300. I had to get extra batteries, which are about a tenner, because you can get them. You can get like dodgy ones from Japan, which still work as fine. But that cost me probably about £3 to the thing to use to film with, and I shot the whole thing with it, and I still use it now to shoot with because it just works so well. I tried to make my own Steadicam. Where?
Can I have a go?
Yeah, go for
it. See how the weight camera balance works. Oh yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, because you've got the bag of tights, which just
so you can actually.
So it actually feels more like
pretty steady. I did have a friend who made something that was too heavy though, but